Welcome back to the Above Board podcast, where we dive into conversations designed to elevate your life, your work, and today, your finances. I'm John Kennedy, certified financial planner, and today's episode is called Your Money Story. Whether you've been handling your finances with gazelle-like intensity, little shout out to the Dave Ramsey followers that recognize that term, or feel like you can never quite get ahead, this episode is for you. I want to start with a question. What story do you tell yourself about money? Because believe it or not, we all have one. And it's this story, often shaped by our past experiences, that dictates how we manage our finances. If we can uncover and understand that story, we can start making meaningful changes towards financial freedom. Over the next few minutes in this podcast, we'll dive into what I call your money story, the narrative behind your financial habits, how to identify your money personality, and then simple steps to improve your cash flow. Plus, I'll share some actionable strategies that our high net worth clients and families use that you can start applying today. Now, before we get into all this tactical stuff, I do want to share a personal story with you. For years, I was what you'd call a compulsive saver. I was cautious, so much so to the point where I feel like it was unhealthy. I was risk averse. I missed opportunities to invest in our business or to take career steps, all because I was living in this state of financial scarcity. And maybe you've experienced this too, but here's the thing. No matter whether you're a saver, a spender, or somewhere in between, your money habits are likely rooted in a story from your past. So let's talk about that story. We have a new e-course out and it's called, shockingly, Your Money Story. It's a free course designed to help you with budgeting, saving, and investing, but we also spend a lot of time focusing on what we call your money personality. I'll take this moment to pause and let you know where to find it. You can go to www.yourmoneystory.app. But back to the topic at hand, whether you realize it or not, your financial behavior falls into a certain type. And understanding this can be life-changing. For example, some people are compulsive spenders. They get a paycheck and before they know it, boom, it's gone. Maybe as you're listening to this, that's you, like you're self-identifying with this, or you know someone who falls into this category. Society conditions us to buy now and pay later, which can be dangerous because it disconnects us from the consequences of spending. There is zero accountability. One helpful strategy that I recommend to spenders is the 24-hour rule. When you're tempted to make a big purchase, sleep on it, give yourself 24 hours before you pull that trigger. And this is scalable to your situation, but I'd like to draw a line in the sand. Maybe it's $250. Maybe it's any purchase over $500. But if it exceeds this number in your family, you're going to give yourself 24 hours. This creates space between impulse and action. Then there are those who are compulsive savers like I used to be. They stash away everything, sometimes to the detriment of living in the present. Now, I'm not saying saving isn't important. I'm a money person. Of course it is. But saving too much can mean missing out on experiences like taking a family vacation or even investing in something that could grow your wealth in the long run. In this course, we walk through several other money personalities as well, like the worrier, the thrill seeker, the indifferent, just to name a few. And no matter where you fall, the key is finding balance. One of the principles that we stress is that understanding your money personality can help you take control of your habits. So leaning into the good and applying strategies to work through the not so good. Now, let's go into a concept that I love talking about. And we cover this on the e-course as well. It's spending up versus spending down. It's a game changer when it comes to managing your cash flow. Think about this for a moment. When you use a credit card, you're disconnected from the purchase. You're spending up. You log in and you see your balance growing and accruing, and you're borrowing from your future self to pay for something today. And the reality is most Americans are carrying a credit card balance, often with high interest rate. So much so that you might feel good about earning those points or the cashback rewards, but the average interest rate on a credit card can range anywhere from 12 to 24%. And I can assure you, when you're carrying a balance, those points aren't cutting it. They're not worth it. It's not outweighing the impact of the interest that you're carrying. Compare that to spending down, which is essentially like spending real time using cash or a debit card. You're now fully aware of your balance and your limits. Studies show that people who use cash or debit cards are more mindful of their purchases and spend anywhere on average from 15 to 20% less over the course of the year than those who use credit cards. It helps you identify needs versus wants. The key takeaway here is spending down puts you in control. You're connected to your money, and that awareness is powerful. By shifting to this mindset, you can start making more conscious choices about how you spend and save. And regardless of your money personality, that's valuable. Now, let's zoom out for a moment and look at the longer term, bigger picture. I'm sure you've heard the story of the tortoise and the hare, but it's got some real valuable lessons for today's conversation. In the race towards financial success or freedom, many of us end up acting like or becoming the hare. We want to get there quickly, find shortcuts, sprint towards the goal, but more often than not, that leaves you feeling burned out. On the other hand, the tortoise takes its time, makes steady, deliberate progress, and that's what we need to focus on. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to building wealth, and I find that it's because it builds discipline along with that, which is one of the most valuable traits for long-term success. When I think about all of the high net worth clients that we work with and serve, that is a common thread for most of them along the way, is this financial discipline that they've come to build. And, investing, it's not about finding the next big thing or trying to time the market perfectly. It's consistency and patience, putting money away regularly and letting it grow over time. This is the approach that we teach you in the Your Money Story e-course. It's about focusing on the long term and not the quick wins. And here's the beauty of it. Just like the tortoise, you don't need to be the fastest. You just need to stay the course and wake up every day and do the same thing again and again. It's the boring, monotonous stuff that ends up yielding the most results in the long run. Now, I know this has been a lot of information and we're just scratching the surface of what we cover in Your Money Story. In the course, we dive deeper into budgeting. We go deeper into cash flow management, savings optimization, and investing 101. We even show you how to automate your investing strategy. If you're ready to dive deeper, I'd love for you to invest in yourself and check out the Your Money Story e-course. Since we just opened this course, it's no cost for now, and you can access this, again, I'll mention it one more time, by going to www.yourmoneystory.app. It's packed with practical tools and strategies that we've developed over decades of our financial planning experience between myself, co-host Matt Marcoux, and Michael Scott, who you've seen on this show several times as well. It's designed to help you create real, lasting change for your financial life. Remember, your financial story is not set in stone. You have the power to rewrite it and create a future that's full of financial freedom and peace of mind. But it does start with doing a little bit of work, understanding where you are today and making small, consistent changes that will compound over time. As always, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Above Board podcast. I hope this episode has given you the tools and inspiration as well to take that first step towards financial freedom. Until next time, remember, slow and steady wins the race.